That's my lame attempt at introduction music, and I said that I'm working on a last podcast, which I cannot believe it's been 2 months, and I'm so busy with other things, man. I'm trying to come up with other ideas for content and just filming some things and getting things together for the future. That time has gotten away from me, and I checked my channel and I saw that it was 2 months, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. But thank you for joining us at the O.M.G podcast. And it's been so long, I can't remember if it's number 4, number 50, number 89, whatever, but we're glad to be back. And there's so much that I wanted to get off my chest, and give you a little bit of a rundown of what I'm going to be discussing on this podcast. It's going to be a little bit of talk of James Cameron and Terminator and Avatar and my feelings on that. The new I was going to say Friday the 13th, new Halloween remake that they are going into production, I guess, to get it ready for next year around this time. And we'll actually be releasing this probably a day or two before Halloween. And I have not yet caught up to season 2 of Stranger Things, and I think on Halloween I'm going to probably kick off, just do a hardcore marathon. I'm going to rewatch season 1 so that things are fresh in my head. That's what I normally do. I did that with Daredevil and all those other shows. Because they're spaced out, we have to wait basically an entire year for that. So I'll start with the first season and get into the second season. I usually do it earlier, but like I said, I've just been busy. I meant to even do it this past weekend, but cheerio. Yes, I think that I'm going to start. I just want to count the episodes, and my overall goal would be to finish both seasons in that entire sitting. So it might call for an AM start time and lead into a PM end time, late PM end time. I can't remember how many episodes the first season had. They usually start off with hold on guys, I'm getting some popping. Maybe one of my channels are up. Give me 1 second. For some reason I like having little mistakes on the air. It makes it more human, I guess. Bear with me. I'm not sure if you guys are hearing that, but I definitely am. And I don't know, it could just be headphones. I normally don't do these with the headphones plugged in. So now it stops and now it started. Okay, sans in the headphones. I'm just gonna go this way. Anyhow, it could be because maybe the way that I'm positioned in my little lo-fi setup that I have. I would never show you guys this setup. You would never see it until I blow up, and then I'll show it to you. Anyway, blow up, whatever. Yeah, so a couple of things. I'm also will be discussing some of the new directors and new filmmakers, or at least the ones that are really, really taking off. Just in my mind. I don't want to say new, because then you get some Weisenheimer to go, these guys are new, they've been out for, the new generation. We'll put it like that. We'll call it the new generation of filmmakers. So again, thanking you for just giving us an ear. Okay. As many of you may know, may not know, that they are already in heavy pre-production stages, and I'm not sure if they're in the writing stage. I think that might be done already for the reboot of the Terminator series. Excuse me, because the rights are going back to James Cameron, if he does not already have them, and they're basically, going with this whole storyline, that Terminators 3 and onward didn't exist, so we're starting off from 2. This all takes place, after 2 and many years later. Linda Hamilton is back, which also explains why James Cameron was talking shit about Wonder Woman, because he knew that she was going to come back for his Terminator series. And I'll just shed a little bit of light on that. I think that those comments that he made actually go back to what I had made reference to, what I called in one of the earlier podcasts, I called it ageism, not really saying that it was ageism as in getting older. It's more so when you've been in the game or been in a certain I don't want to say tax bracket, but just when you're living the life high off the hog and you forget your humble beginnings of what it is. It's like, sometimes you have a guy that lives, lives in a street environment, lives in, the hood or the ghetto, like myself, which is how I grew up. And then you move away and then you forget what that lifestyle, what that, that life was, because you never go back to it, you don't visit it. So you have a lot of people that are wealthy and they've totally forgotten what it is to be broke. They've just put that out their mind. So I'll transition. I use that in that example to say that, there's a bit of an arrogance with Cameron, which has always been there. And those that have done their research, they know that, he is a guy who, comes across, as far as I'm concerned, is like a bit spoiled. Everything has to be done his way. He's a ball buster regarding his work ethic. And, expects nothing than the best, at least, in his mind, what he considers nothing, but the best. And in his opinion, he didn't feel that Wonder Woman was, the best, but he feels that Sarah Connor is the best. So it's basically me is what I kind of call the Prince syndrome. Prince doesn't listen to, he was known for not listening to any other music but himself. But his own music, because he would, supposedly be sitting there and trying to rearrange, anyone else's music, take it for what it's worth. It is what it is. But, I thought those comments were bogus. It was stupid because, he's forgetting that success is going to only help his success when it comes with female characters. And when I'm saying that, when you've been out of a reality loop because you've been, stuck in a bubble, and with him, he's been stuck in an avatar bubble, more on that later, where he's just been doing nothing but avatar, and can't wait for the next avatar. So, a reality of that, hey, you know what, her success leads to my future success because we have some new things that are going to be dropping soon, some announcements, and, you'll hear about that soon. So I thought that the film was awesome and, yada, yada, yada. And then a few months later or a few weeks later, you announced Terminator. And then a few weeks after that, you announced that Linda Hamilton's coming back and what a great female character. And then people would go, oh, okay, that's what he was leading to. I looked at it as, oh, this is what he's leading to. So he's going to shit on this and just basically blow himself up, So it is what it is. Me personally, I'm not sure if, well, at least I thought that enough Terminators, I'm not sure, now that they could pull it off because It's been watered down. The last Terminator, I wasn't all that upset with. It was okay. I really liked Terminator 3 because I'm a fan of Nick Stahl. I thought that was cool. I believe that was that Terminator film. The one with what's the guy who passed away? And Christian Bale, the guy that's in the green room in Star Trek. I'm sorry, his name escapes me. I'm starting to see it a little bit in my mind. It'll come. I didn't think that was the best one. That was probably the worst as far as I was concerned. I personally, I might have stated this before, especially when it came to that one, I want to see a Terminator film that is like Saving Private Ryan, and that's what I thought that one with Christian Bale, Salvation. I thought the Salvation was going to do that exactly, because they were on a mission to find John Connor, and there was a lot of shit that was going on, but it wasn't really what I wanted. I wanted a hardcore war film where you're looking for John Connor, you got a message, you got to bring him back, and I've yet to see that. I might have stated this too, that when I saw the first Avatar film in 3D, I saw that shit, and the first thing I said, wow, this is how James Cameron can reinvigorate the Terminator franchise, because he can make Arnold Schwarzenegger young and still utilize his voice. You can utilize everyone's voice and just keep moving on in this, 3D, world environment that you can create for this film. Now we know now that Schwarzenegger is coming back as not only the Terminator, and I'm sure they're gonna have the younger version just like they did in the other film, but they're gonna have the more current state of how Arnold looks now, and he's the prototype of what they use. I'm sure he's probably going to be some sort of a scientist and all that good jazz. The one thing that I will say, the one feather in the cap, the one reason that I'm interested in it is Tim Miller. He was the director of Deadpool, and he decided not to go on to do Deadpool 2. And now we can tell with good reason. I know that he has a number of projects. Excuse me. Ooh, so unprofessional. Sorry. A number of projects that is the other projects that I've been working on, which is why I'm yawning. That he has under his cap that he's keeping quiet. I think that one of them that he had been working with David Fincher on. They've been trying to raise money years ago on was The Goon. And I just got my hands on those comics. I haven't started them yet, but I'm really anticipating checking those out, because I did see their funding page, and I did see the artwork and what it could be, and it looked fucking awesome. It really did look close to the comic book. So, when that comes out, that's probably going to be a monster, because I'm sure he's uber passionate about. But he was uber passionate about right now is this Terminator film that he pitched to Cameron, and Cameron got excited. And I actually watched, there's an interview on YouTube, and I believe it's on the Hollywood Reporter channel, THR. It is Cameron and Tim Miller, and they're talking about the Terminator concept. And I think they're talking, it's a live Q&A or something to that effect. They're talking in front of an audience. And if I wasn't jazzed then, I got a little jazzed, a little bit more excited hearing what Tim Miller had, and he started to break down and almost cry just because he's getting a chance to work with Cameron, and you felt that passion, like this was his fucking dream. And the cool thing that he mentioned is that when they were making Deadpool, that they were always referencing, and not just him, his crew, his team of fucking filmmakers, they were referencing and having a lot of dialogue about Terminator. And now they're getting their shot. And he's saying the same crew that worked on Deadpool, I'm bringing them over so that we can work on this Terminator thing. So it's just, it was crazy. So when he broke down, you saw that passion. I said, all right, this guy's got it in his heart, that he sees a big vision. He's had this probably in his back pocket for a little while, as if I could only do my version, I would do it this way. And he, it seems like he got his wish. And they also have a really cool writer. His name escapes me, but you've heard the name before. Anyone that's in film, and or any cinephile that's into looking at credits and screenwriters, the name just escapes me right now. I want to say Goyer, but I might be wrong, but I might be right. But when he dropped the name, I said, "Oh, okay, they're not fucking around. They're really, they basically created a think tank while he was creating Avatar. So he had a studio, and this is when you watch this interview, you will hear it. While he's making Avatar, he would go over to the other side of the studio. What's this? Is it still Lightworks? Go over to the other side, and they would sit, or early morning, they would sit and have a whole think tank on Terminator and what they're going to do. So that right there gets me jazzed. And they're already talking about this is going to be a 3-part film. So they're already mapping it out. They're not doing something where the first film is successful, then we start talking sequel. They're not doing the studio game crap. So, that alone has me jazzed. What does not have me jazzed is the Avatar films. And I don't think that I am alone. I am not anticipating the Avatar sequels in no way, shape, or form. He would have to do something, Cameron, that is going to completely blow my fucking mind and flip my goddamn wig back. There are a lot of people that when they discuss this, they say the same thing. Oh, I doubted him. And then he came out with Avatar. And I was like, oh, I doubted him with Titanic. And then I was on board with Titanic because, he was really on a run. Avatar, when I went into the theater to see it, I had a good time. And I think I've only watched that film one more time, and it wasn't in 3D. And there aren't a lot of people that I know in my circle, I don't even hear them say that, oh my God, Avatar is my favorite film, or I watch Avatar over and over and over and over and over again. So I'm not really looking forward to seeing the Avatar sequels. On top of that, it's been like 30,000 years, and now, he's still working on the sequel. And it's not just a sequel, there's 2 parts, I believe. So it's a part 2 and a part 3 that he's filming back to back. They're actually in production with it now. So I am not, excited for it. And to the point that I actually think it's going to bomb. I think it's going to bomb. I think, he's once again in that bubble of this is going to be the biggest thing since Swiss cheese. I'm the best and the biggest thing since Swiss cheese. It's going to be this, and I'm going to be back on top. And I think that, that for this project, I'm not going to sit here and say for his career. I think that ship is sailed. It's sailing slower, but when you see a ship sail away and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, but you're still trying to squint your eyes because the sun is so bright, and then you just don't see the ship anymore. I think, is at the point now with that, that's where we're at with Avatar. And we're probably not going to see that film until 2019, if not 2020, because they're just filming it now. And they have to add on the actual effects, which I'm not sure they already have them, or, prepped and ready to go. I don't know shit regarding that. So maybe we'll be seeing it in 2019. Who knows? But the further it is from him filming it to us seeing it, the smaller and smaller that ship is getting. And there are other filmmakers that are coming out, and there are other films that are coming out that, this quote unquote universe, because everyone's using that fucking term now, this world of Avatar is going to have to compete with, you already have to compete with the spin-offs of the Star Wars films. And if those, if that franchise continues to be successful, and then the Marvel franchise continues to be successful, and if the fucking DC franchise continues to be successful after Wonder Woman and Justice League, you're gonna have to kind of carve your niche to fucking fit in. And then you're talking about the side studios with their, because there are fucking 3 X-Men films coming out next year. Imagine trying to drop an Avatar film. You got 3 fucking X-Men films coming out. The trailer for the New Mutants looks very fucking interesting. They put a hardcore spin on it. And I think the studio's now starting to get filmmakers that are comic book heads, and they're into this shit rather than just picking, regular old directors that have no fucking comic book knowledge, and they get it while they're on the set rather than doing the research, to get it before you even start production, and then you get the slop that you get. So, imagine trying to drop an Avatar film next year, 3 X-Men films, fucking Black Panther, which is gonna fucking put its foot up everyone's ass, twist it, stomp it into the ground and do its thing. Unfortunately, I mean, of course they're releasing it in Black History Month, quote unquote, in February, whatever. Black Panther, 3 X-Men films. We haven't even tapped into fucking the Avengers, the fucking what's the face? I just brain farting right now. The Avengers film, which is really going to smack the shit out of fucking everything. Aquaman comes out next year. You know what I mean? So like, imagine trying to, all these different comic book fucking entities on top of other shit that'll drop. A possible fucking It sequel, which I can't even fucking get into right now because I just saw it fucking last week and I thought it was fucking really fucking good. Now you're trying to fit, what you feel is the greatest film ever. It's going to be the Avatar, It's going to be fucking tough. It's going to be motherfucking tough for a film that we have not seen in eons, for you to come back, and you've been talking about it for fucking ever, and we still haven't seen shit until now. Now you're just coming forward with this, and like I said, they just went into production, meaning filming, and we may not see it until 2019, 2020, just because of the effects, and you're doing back to back. So you better bring your motherfucking A game, because all this shit you talking, you better be able to walk in. I can't just live off of I'm not one to live off of, oh yeah, but he gave us Terminator. Oh yeah, he gave us Titanic. Oh yeah, that shit is the past. And you know what they say, you're only as good as your last fucking project. And if you have to put Titanic up against Avatar, I'm not going to sit here and say which one's the better film. That's for you guys. I'll let you guys sit on that and put something in the comments box, or just think about, this little conversation that we're having right now about that. But sometimes, as I digress back, you live in your own fucking bubble where you think that you are the best in the world. There's no one else that's better than you. And the reality is, I'm not sure how much in tune you are with other filmmakers and the shit that they're dropping, and them being competitive with you. And even if you like somebody's, film, you may not want to tip your hat off, because once again, you still feel that you're the biggest fucking bully on the block and your shit doesn't stink. And this is just what it is. So those are, that's pretty much my feelings on that whole thing. I think as a producer, him producing films, I think that, here's the other shit that I didn't even talk about. God damn. Those fucking sequels are going to have $1 billion in budget. And I don't even know if they even include the fucking marketing on it. $1 billion talking about for both of these fucking films. That shit has to do the numbers. The numbers that it has to do. Dude, this is why I don't think, I think that we're going to slowly see the downfall, the slippery slope of Cameron, and I don't know how he's going to take it when these films flop. As according to me, if what I'm seeing and what I feel is going to happen, I think he's going to probably be fucking shell shocked, but we shall see what we shall see. Now, what I was going to say, as a producer, him producing films, he seems to be, like I said, with this Terminator, seems to be on point. And with the Battle Angel Alita, I'm hoping I'm saying it right. I can only hope that film does extremely well for 2 reasons. One, I've heard good things about the comic, haven't read it. 2 for Cameron, of course, whatever. 3 for fucking Robert motherfucking Rodriguez. For Robert Rodriguez, who to me is, our next Cameron, our next Lucas, our next Spielberg, in my opinion, if he can do one thing, and I don't understand why he still has yet to do it, become a better screenwriter. Become a better screenwriter, because when it comes to the technical and the effects, he's got that shit down to the point that he built his own studio. I don't really have to tell you the whole story, his own effects studio. He's got that shit down, and he's only going to get better because he's working with one of the fucking masters at the shit. But if he can become a fucking better writer, right now, like how Kevin Smith is just hitting his stride, he's getting his second win, he says, Robert Rodriguez could really get his second win after Alita, and if he really fucking focusing on that writing, get that writing, up to snuff. Sit in with Tarantino, man, every day, all day, until you really fucking get it. Because there are certain projects where, his projects shit the bed. They look really good. They have some great special effects. But that writing is, not to be desired. And kudos to him and the Weinstein thing, and that'll be for probably another show. That was a dope story, Robert Rodriguez. If you guys don't know, go Google or Yahoo or AOL or whatever your fucking search engines is. Robert Rodriguez, Weinstein, Rose McGowan. That story is dope, and it explains a lot of shit. It really does. The way that homeboy Weinstein fucked over Grindhouse, it makes a lot of sense, because when that film came out, myself included, everyone was saying, who the fuck releases a horror film on a weekend of Easter? Makes a lot of fucking sense. A lot of sense. So yeah, when you guys get a second, as you're listening to this, just open up a side tab, Google it, open it up, and just put it on the side. Unless you can multitask, you can listen, you can read at the same time. It's a really good story. So as I was talking about with Cameron and competing with the new directors, I wanted to talk about the new era briefly, the new era of filmmakers, and how fucking impressed I am. Hopefully I'll get a chance to slide in. I'm not sure if I'll be at that level, because I'm so indie. If I can get it to a point where someone's going to pay attention, I'll be, I would like to be a filmmaker that will dabble his toe in and out, just to be able to keep certain aspects of what I create mine. When it comes to issues of rights and things like that, that's where I feel like a lot of creative people kind of get screwed over. But that's a conversation for another time. As far as the new filmmakers are concerned, the new era of filmmakers, as I mentioned, I just checked out It, and I don't like messing up people's names, but I will make an attempt to right now. I want to say Machete, and I know Machete is probably all fucking wrong, so I'm not gonna fucking. I've already jacked his name up as is, just saying that. The director of It, great fucking job, man. I am currently. I play this. I like the film so much that I currently am listening to the audiobook, and it dawned on me just how much fucking exposition Stephen King has in this book, or just in his books in general. And for someone to be able to take a novel and be able to just extract certain things and go, all right, this is going to be my take on this story. Get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of this, get rid of that, and just put tabs on everything that you like, and just to say, if we focus in on this, this, and this, we have a story. So much fucking shit is in the audiobook, in the book in general. Not knocking him at all, because he's got years of, writing. I mean, play this. He has so much exposition, and of course, it was a miniseries. They could have flipped it and turned this into a Netflix and still went hardcore or Amazon series, But it's just a lot of shit, that I'm just not into, especially after being spoiled by the film and knowing that, he just took out a lot of stuff and just said we need just focus in on this part of this. I don't really want to hear about the pharmacist, Eddie's pharmacist, and his little background, unless he's going to pop back up in part 2, because the audiobook is fucking like 11 hours, and this is just part 1. I haven't gotten to part 2 yet, unless he's going to reemerge in the second. I don't want to hear about the pharmacist, his religious beliefs, and yada 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 and all this other shit. I want to get to the fucking clown. I want to get to, like, what the fuck is up with this? What's his back history? Why is this fucking clown here? Where did he fucking come from? I want to get into that. I don't want to hear about, fucking Bill's dad, who was a plumber, and it's like 20, well, I'm exaggerating, but like 5 or 7 minutes of his dad was a plumber that came from the old school. He learned his trade while he was at NYU, and all the plumbers back in the 30s taught the plumbers of the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and Bill's dad could plumb the da-da-da-da-da. It's like, I don't want to hear that, man. Let's just fucking just get to the shit. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it. So, I mean, kudos to being able again to extract it, and kudos to anyone out here that's adapting fucking the comic books, that are adapting any other fucking novels, and that are able to just extract and just strike out all that, the extra stuff, and say we don't need this, we don't need that, it's not pertinent to this part of story, it's not pertinent to that. Like, I completely understand with King and how he has his Castle Hill world, and I'm not sure if Derry, the town of Derry, is a part of that. I don't know. Only he knows, and anyone that reads a shitload of his books, they know, like, how I know, actually, it probably is, because I know that they did mention Shawshank Prison in the book, but I'm not sure if some of the characters are going to pop up. And I know they're also doing a film called a TV show based on Castle Hill, but just the exposition of stuff that it's like, okay, is this going to pop back up? How important is this, me knowing about this plumber's background or this fucking pharmacist's background is going to play into this film, this book, or anything else in the future? If it ties itself in, all right, okay, so I slept on it, and now it pops up in another book, a completely different book, and I go, oh, okay, all right, I get it. That's the pharmacist that's from it. But like I said, I got spoiled from the movie, and I just kind of want to get to the fat of it. I want to get to the juicy fat of what the hell is going on. The 27 years later, what are we doing? Let's get at this fucking beast. How is this going to jump off? Right now, the book goes into the past, and then it comes a little bit into the present. They all get the phone call of what the fuck is going on. They all have to meet up in Derry. That's kind of, where I'm at. Anyhow, just the hats off, to the director, for being able to pull that shit off. And I hope that the sequel does the same thing. I'm hoping that he already had this shit lined up. He already knew exactly what he wanted to do. The studios would just leave him alone and let him continue flowing the way that he knows, how to do it. And I really do hope that they do cast Amy Adams as Beverly, because that young lady looks so much like her. I can understand them, the fans, they want Jessica Chastain, and because Sheena director, oh, that's right, just dawned on me that this director did Mama, and that was a cool ass fucking movie. That was a really cool ass movie. They have a relationship, but I'm not mad. I won't be mad, but this, when I see that young actress, I'm like, oh, this is Amy Adams. I just looked at her and said, this ain't fucking Adams. And I'm going to do a blog. I'm going to write a blog on who I think would be a fit for casting. I'm going to do it in the next few days, because next thing you know, someone's getting signed and it just totally fucks up the blog or whatever. I don't want to get into it here. I got to give you guys, a little bit of food here, a little bit of food there. And my blog is Digital Cinemakers, the Digital Cinemakers blog, the Digital Cinemakers blog. I will leave a link. But yeah, I really thought that he killed it on it. And I don't have, my IMDb stuff here to go through his other films. But yeah, Mama, I did enjoy. I really did. Um, Damn, I think I might know that there's one more film that he did do. No, I don't want to blurt it out and have some fucking film geek up my ass, in the comments. Let's just see. As I transition into Villeneuve, I think that's how you pronounce his name, the director of Blade Runner 2049. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten a chance to see the Blade Runner film, but of course, I hear nothing but good things. Hold on, something in the back moved. It always piques my curiosity. Back in my room. Yeah, I heard nothing but good things, and apparently the box office isn't doing that well, but it is very similar to the first Blade Runner. But because we live in different times, it's not going to bleed that much. Andreas Muschietti, that's his name. Andreas Muschietti is the director of it. And I just wanted to get clarity because I want to be, proper and do him justice. And I want to see. Oh, get the fuck out. He only did Mama and It? Wow, okay. I like that. It shows, for his sophomore film, he's, on the beat. Okay, so, yeah. It, as far as Blade Runner is concerned, it's not going to bleed that much because when the first Blade Runner came out, there was a big window between the theatrical and tape, which was VHS and Betamax, and of course now led into DVD and Blu-ray and whatever. What I mean is, as far as a big window, nowadays there's a 90-day rule basically. Blade Runner drops 3-4 weeks ago, right? And from that point on is 90 days, and then the film gets released. So it might be late December or January. Back then with the first Blade Runner, you're talking about a fucking whole year and a half, of the window from theatrical to tape. And I'm not even sure if it was that long because I can't even fathom, I guess if I do the research, when fucking tape and Betamax and all that shit actually dropped onto the scene. So with that being said, it may be doing bad at the box office, not pulling the numbers that they wanted to pull in, but when it hits on Blu-ray and everything else in digital and DVD, it's going to pick up. And we've seen a number of films not do so well at the box office, come out on digital and Blu-ray and go on to have fucking sequels. Okay, we've seen that. Let's not act like we have not. So I would not be surprised if they decided to move forward, in another year or so. If they decide to go that route, with another Blade Runner film. And to me, the first Blade Runner reminds me, or I shouldn't say reminds me, let me just spit it out. The film The Watchmen, or Watchmen, Zack Snyder's Watchmen, I'm probably one of a handful of people that actually enjoy that film. When I watch it over and over again, that fucking film reminds me of Blade Runner. the feel, the style, and the whole nine yards reminds me of Blade Runner. And I feel that in time, it's going to be one of those films that people are going to start going, oh, wow, you know what? I slept on this film. I didn't think it was any good. Excuse me. And now I really, really fucking enjoy it. And it's going to be one of those, films that it's, in the future, excuse me, I don't know why I'm getting these hiccups. In the future is going to be another Blade Runner type of property. And that might actually happen. Like I said, how time changes. That might actually happen sooner than later because now HBO has gotten into where HBO is part of Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers owns the rights to the Watchmen comic book, but now they're doing the Watchmen series for HBO, and that's only going to reinvigorate the Zack Snyder story of that version of the Watchmen or Watchmen. I think they changed the name, whatever, but you guys understand what I'm talking about. So I really just have this feeling that, that's going to be one of those films it's going to happen to. But, I just don't see any, worries about 2049. It's going to pick up smoke. How do you pronounce it? Villeneuve. Okay. Denis Villeneuve. He did one of my, I can't say it's one of my favorite films, but it's a fucking badass film. It's a very deep film. Prisoners. Prisoners is a fucking slick ass motherfucking film, man. Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal. You guys should check that fucking film. I think Viola Davis in that fucking film as well? Hold on, let me check. Yeah, I was right. That's a very slick film. Maria Bello, who I like. That's right, Terrence Howard. Yeah, that's a slick fucking film, man. I'm telling you. You guys, if you haven't seen Prisoners, go check Prisoners out. He also did Sicario. Sicario I thought was cool. I didn't think that they should have made a sequel to it. But he's probably not directing it. Then that's whatever. I'm gonna get off of that. But yeah, this guy is the directors are fucking. This is what fucking a guy like Cameron has to compete with. This is what someone like Spielberg, who still, to me, he still got it. From what I've seen of Ready Player One, I like it. I kind of root for him. When he's doing his like sci-fi, more so the sci-fi stuff. I really root for him, and I hope that he can show like, hey, I still got it. I'm still here doing it. At this age, because he's one of those filmmakers to me that is still in the loop. He's still got his feet in the streets. This is just to me, he still got his feet in the streets. He don't mind going into the hood, smelling the air and finding out what the fuck is really going on. Not just living in a bubble and just going, oh, my shit's the best. My shit's the greatest. It's the best since Swiss cheese and yada, yada, yada. And that's just, it's all about me. So, as they say, time will tell. Then we have, and I'm only tip of the iceberg. These are just the names that are, on my tongue that I wrote down. I wasn't really happy with The Force Awakens. I am one of those that feels like it was just a retelling of the first Star Wars. So I'm not really interested in seeing The Last Jedi. However, I constantly forget that Rian Johnson directed it. I fucking adore Rian Johnson, man. That motherfucker is hands down one of the best fucking filmmakers out here. And if anybody knows, if I haven't fucking talked about Tarantino in any of these podcasts, I love Tarantino. Rian Johnson is fucking right under that fucking shit. I know there's probably someone else that I left off. There's other names that of directors that I like, but the shit that I've seen, the different styles of films that he makes is what really fucking pumps me up. To have a fucking film like Brick, And then to fucking have something like a fucking Looper. Oh my gosh. When I saw Looper, I said to myself, holy shit, this shit is like fucking Star Wars, especially when you had the fucking bike. I said, this shit is fucking Star Wars. So yo, this dude is doing his own version of fucking Star Wars. So for him to fucking actually be doing fucking Star Wars, it's fucking awesome. But I just fucking forget that Rian Johnson is the fucking director because of my, dissatisfaction for the last Star Wars. So I didn't want to watch the trailer when it dropped a few weeks back. And then I said, you know what? Because it's fucking Rian Johnson, dude, it's Rian Johnson. You gotta check it out. And I looked at it, and I wasn't all pumped up for it, but just the fact because it's fucking Rian Johnson, I'm gonna go fucking check it out. I'm gonna go fucking check it out, man. And I hope that it is the best out of the three. I hope that this is his fucking empire, because the next Star Wars, they're going back to old Safe Zone guy, old J.J. Abrams, who really hasn't impressed me at all. I'm sorry. I'm not impressed with the hype and yada, yada, yada. He just doesn't do it. I know he's really trying hard to be Spielberg, but no, it's just not. I'm not feeling him. And I think that you could leave something on the table. I think that if you're doing Star Trek, you don't jump ship from Star Trek to go do Star Wars. You leave a little something on the table for somebody else, and you challenge yourself. You really challenge yourself and go, you know what? And I do know that I did leave out the fucking Brothers Bloom. I'm just talking about the difference in filmmaking, storytelling, as far as Rian Johnson is concerned. This guy, I know he's trying to, be Spielberg, and I personally would challenge myself to go, there's always been this beef between Star Wars and Star Trek. I think if we really can hamper down, and after the second Star Wars with the whole fuck up with Khan, you really put your foot in the studio's ass and go, you guys really need to leave me the fuck alone and let me do what I need to do, because there's rumors that Star Wars may be rebuilding and coming back, and we're going to have to fuck with them. So I need to just be left alone. I need to come up with a fucking creative team so that when the third one drops, we could really go out and gangbusters, or maybe we can lead something in where we can do a fourth and a fifth one. I need to redeem myself. I need to do something that's so dope that it actually makes people fucking scratch their ears, scratch the inside of their ears as to which one is the better franchise, this new Star Wars reboot or the new Star Trek reboot. You really, really sit down, you challenge yourself, and you go ham, and you go, you know what, we really need to come up with some new shit that's really going to challenge. Nope, I'm just going to do what's easy. I'm going to jump ship. Cry wolf, studio fucked me over. I'm going to jump ship and just say, you know what, peace. I'm going to where it's safe. And it's, I'm just not impressed. There's no hatred or nothing. I'm just not impressed. And then when he did Super 8, that to me, it's like when the rag just went dry, because he was trying to, do this whole, it's a mystery, Spielberg, and it fell flat. Big fucking time it fell flat. So it is what it is. I just wanted to shout out those guys in the new era of filmmakers. And I'm going to give a honorable mention, a special shout out. And I'm going to get this guy's name right, because I don't want to fuck up anymore. And it's just popped up in my brains for anyone else. Go, you should really have it written down. Fuck off. Let me see. I'm going to get his name right, because this guy got jerked. And all you got to do is do your research to know that he got jerked by the studio. And I really do think that Josh Trank, I want to give an honorable mention to Josh Trank and say, bro, if he can just get his shit together and go back, after Chronicle, the world seemed like it was his oyster. He should have never fell into that. And this is the reason why the whole studio thing, I do believe the studio conned him. into, they basically fucked him and got him to do all that press and make everything seem like it was all right, and they knew exactly what they were going to do. They put him in a bind and they fucked him over. And I really want to see him come back and win, and the next thing that he has just seems like it's something completely different. But I really want to see him, he's doing something about Al Capone, why Al Capone suffering from dementia, why, something different, maybe he's going for some sort of an Oscar thing, whatever. Oh, and he has Tom Hardy in it. Well, Tom Hardy isn't signed, and I don't think this is a project that's going into production. But look at this shit, IMDb. Josh Trank's first film since the critically savaged Fantastic Four. Fucked up. And the studio fucked him. I really do want him to come back and really fuck them, and just be like, yo, I'm bad bitches. I knew, and just to stay on an indie level. And that reminds me, because I was going to stop and transition out, and I remembered somebody that's on my list, who I'm not impressed with as far as features would be Neil Blomkamp. I'm not impressed with him. I like District 9. After that, everything else, I'm not a big Charlo Copley, however his fucking name is. I'm not a big fan of his. The best thing he's done was District 9, and I'll leave it at that. I'm not impressed with what Blomkamp has done outside of District 9, and District 9 was realistically supposed to be what was that fucking video game? Anyway, I can't remember. It's a popular game that was on Xbox, and that shit fell through. And then I think he took some of the weaponry, and flipped it into District 9 or whatever. I think. Don't hold me to that. But that seemed like a film that, almost on some Robert Rodriguez El Mariachi thing, where it was, we were going to give you this. Now we're not going to give you this. But you know what? I'm just going to go do this project on the side that I want to do. And fuck you guys. I'm going to do me. And we got District 9. Fucking Chappie. The shit with Matt Damon. I'm glad he didn't do the Aliens film. But what I am impressed with is that he has a channel on YouTube. And some of the shit that he's coming out with, I'm looking at it. It's like some of it I get because they're very short films. And I'm like, why are you fucking around with studios when you have your own shit? You can create your own effects and do your own stories. Look at these little short films that you're just giving us. Fuck a studio and fuck the shit that they're trying to do with you. They're trying to, do what Lucas said. Studios, they build you up to fucking, they when they get you, they say, oh, we want you to work for us. We love what you did. And then when they get you, they fucking strip everything away from you that they said that they loved. The shit that I see that Blomkamp's doing on YouTube is his own fucking voice. Stick with that shit. Stay away from the fucking studio shit. With all these fucking distribution channels, including YouTube that you have, you can also fucking monetize it for a couple of bucks. Man, fuck all the studio remakes and all the other shit and stick to that shit, man. Stick to that shit. Even if you're just doing fucking shorts, everything doesn't have to be a fucking feature. Stick to that shit, man. And I think you'll fucking come up more on top than anything fucking else. Fuck that. That's how I feel. Fuck that. So, as far as the new era, he's a part of it. Once he finds his footing and just realizes that, it's going to be a bad motherfucker, man. And it's going to be another one for James Cameron to contend with. And it's not that I'm banging on James Cameron, as I keep going back. It's just that, dude, you got to open your eyes and realize motherfuckers out here hungry, including me. They're hungry. And they coming for, I ain't going to say crowns or titles, but they coming for spots. They coming, and they coming fast and furious. They coming for your spot. to be the fucking film that's going to gross 500, 600, 700 fucking $1 million, if not $1 billion in fucking less than 3 or fucking 4 months. That's what they're coming for, you know, including the females. So when you knock a fucking Patty Jenkins, you know, for doing that shit, you know, fuck around. If fucking Wonder Woman comes out the same time as your fucking film, you better fucking hope to God that you got the winning ticket, the winning lottery ticket, because you've been talking so much shit. You know, you've been talking a lot of shit. And she's actually been grandfathered in to the fucking new era of fucking filmmakers, because she's been very fucking selective. I don't think she's done a feature since fucking Monster. And on top of it, I just fucking found out that she got fucking fired off of fucking Thor, Dark World, which I personally thought was the best fucking Thor. Now, this new Thor, I'm hearing a lot of shit which goes into Taika Waititi. And I'm hoping I'm not fucking his name up. But from what I've been told, that this fucking Thor is gonna kick fucking ass. But I'm gonna put a pause on that, because I want to take 2 steps back to go back to motherfucking Patty Jenkins. I'm not just gonna just jump over that. She grandfathered herself in because, like I said, she's very fucking picky. She did a lot of television, a lot of other shit, and she was very, very picky, to the point that everybody kind of forgot about her. Even when she got fucked over by Marvel, they forgot about it. Nobody really talks about it. And I just found out that that was the reason why Natalie Portman, you know, was fucking lackluster about fucking with the Marvel fucking universe, you know, because of what happened with Patty Jenkins on Dark World. And I'm not sure if I said this before in the last podcast. I really, and they've been mentioning this, you know, I hope that I did mention it, because that means I was before my time, because I got to go back and listen to my shit, because it's been so fucking busy. But I did say, or at least in my mind, that I wanted Marvel to do the fucking female Thor with Sarah Foster, which is the character that Natalie Portman plays. And it would be nice if they fucking got, because we were talking about, you're not going to see that Thor until like another fucking 3 to fucking 4 more years. Because, you know, we're talking about going into phase 4 of Marvel. By then, Patty Jenkins will probably have done another 2 more DC films. We know that one's going to be Wonder Woman. We don't know if it's going to be the third Wonder Woman, or it's going to be another Justice League or some shit. Get her for that, because Marvel, they fucking owe her property. And you get Natalie Portman, because I believe in my heart that she's the one actress, I'm sure there's a lot of them, that could really pull that shit off, especially because of her size, her stature. And if you know the fucking comic book, that Sarah Foster gets stricken with cancer and she becomes Thor, if they go with that fucking storyline, you have a fucking winner. A winner. Fried chicken dinner. I was looking for something other than, you know, the usual shit. I was trying. Yeah. So, yeah, she grandfathered herself in because you hadn't heard anything from her, you know, so she's just, you know, reintroducing herself to everyone. And you know, as far as I'm concerned, she's, you know, she's the, you know, part of the fucking new era of fucking filmmakers. That's on the come up, you know, so you got to be on your fucking P's and Q's when you make fucking statements about shit. You got to be on your P's and Q's and make sure that your shit does not stink. So, especially when you've been fucking going for a while. Anyway, now, back to Waititi. I know I might be massacring these guys' fucking names. They would probably kill me. I'm hearing nothing but good things about this Thor Ragnarok. The trailers have got me amped. And I know that it's going to lead in to the fucking next Avengers series. And I think that this cat, as a director, is basically going to be at the point where actually it fucking does feel like a Flash Gordon. You know, when I saw the trailer from the beginning, when he was showing the trailers back in like July or June, it kind of felt like Flash Gordon. You know, so now to hear people go, oh my God, it's reminding me of Flash Gordon. You know, in my mind, I'm hitting the nail on the head. But, you know, after this fucking week, because it comes out this week, this cat's going to pretty much, you know, be able to write his own ticket. You know, it seems like he's going to be able to write his own fucking ticket. And, you know, why not hand him a Star Wars film? And if this Han, I mean, like the Han Solo film has to be big. I'm just transitioning into like something. The Han Solo film has to be big, despite all the mix-up, because these Star Wars one-offs or Star Wars spin-offs are gonna be the new fucking bread and butter of the Star Wars franchise. A lot of people want to see, I believe it's Rebels or like the pre-Star Wars shit, basically battle shit that you see in Battlefront, the video game. They want to see the Old Republic. That's what it is. They want to see the fucking Old Republic, and they want to see it fucking done well. So, why not give it to them, and why not give somebody like a Taika Waititi a shot at something like that, if he's interested. Only if he's interested. If he's not, and he has his own thing that he wants to do, then cool. I'm all for it, as long as it's consistent and as long as it's consistently great. Or just give me good. I'm good with good. Good. You don't always have to be great. So, with that said, I've stated my case. Another honorable mention in the new era is Ryan Coogler, who, like I said, with Black Panther, is going to really fuck a lot of people up, fuck a lot of movies up for next year. It's really going to. Just unfortunate it's coming out early, but I understand why. I know the marketing and the timing of it. I understand what they're trying to do. I get that. I said I was going to discuss Halloween, the remake of the remake of the remake of the remake of the remakes, of the remakes of the remakes of the remakes. Why? I have no idea. These guys have a boner for fucking Halloween, remaking it over and over again. I am one of the few people that did enjoy Rob Zombie's take. I liked especially part 2 more than 1. And side note, why is Rob Zombie trying to fucking do a sequel to Devil's Rejects? You need to leave that shit alone, buddy, and just come up with something new, fresh, and invigorating. Really, really, dude, like really. Leave that one alone. I don't want to see no new people in those parts. I don't want to see a fucking prequel like, the Vega Brothers, which I'm glad never happened. That shit actually should just be a fucking video game. A really well-crafted video game. You get fucking Madsen and Travolta to do the voices. Tarantino produces it. Tarantino writes the whole fucking thing. Make it a hardcore motherfucking video game. Leave it at that. Yeah, so I just wanted to, throw that little shit, that little jab in. It's like, Rob Zombie, leave fucking Devil's Rejects alone because you stand a chance at fucking ruining the whole fucking thing. Why do they want to do another fucking Halloween, man? I have no fucking clue. Leave the fucking shit alone. The one film that I feel, if you're going to do a fucking Halloween movie, is either do a sequel or you fucking remake The Season of the fucking Witch. Because that shit has nothing to do with Michael Myers. It is fucking... when I last watched it, it is fucking dark as fuck. For real, it is a dark fucking film that is just so far removed from fucking Halloween. It seemed like it was his own script and that they needed a Halloween sequel to drop. So they just threw the name of fucking Halloween on it and we'll call it Season of the Witch. But I think if either, now that shit right there, I could see them franchising that into a 3-part story arc. Something like a Saw, of course, where they all tie in, they all lead to one thing. I think that would be a fucking really good concept. No one would see it coming. There would be no expectations. No one would be looking at it going, why would you want to do Season of the Witch again and this and that? I think fucking read. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say it. So it's retarded. Because anyway, yeah, fucking do Season of the fucking Witch. Sequelize that shit. Really fucking have kick ass. Or if you're not going to put it theatrical, do a Netflix thing, an Amazon thing, where you flip it and bounce it and you put that shit out for Halloween, and then it will actually be a season, because it'll be a TV show with a season, the shortened season of 10 episode arc, Season of the Witch. That shit would kick ass. That shit right there, done, of course, it will kick ass only if it's done well. Let me put it like that. And that's pretty much all the shit that I'm talking about today. I don't think there's anything else that I want to discuss. Harvey Weinstein couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, because I got screwed by the Weinsteins one time. That's a story for a whole other fucking time, based off a film that I did that they jacked, and to the point that they actually took the fucking character names and took some of my fucking lines from my script. And I'm not hallucinating. I have people that will fucking back me up on this shit. So just don't think that it's just some filmmakers talking shit. No. So it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, and I was very well aware of all the fucking bullying, because if you go back into the annals of the distribution game back in when they're the ones who fucked up a lot of the 90s because of some of the bullying tactics that they were doing with the independent films at film festivals like Sundance and Cannes and shit like that. They got the fucking I'm not gonna single-handedly just put the whole blame on them, but when they were Miramax, and or I should say pre-Miramax time, they were buying up so many fucking indie films that the studios felt that they were getting Oscar buzz around those films, that a lot of studios will start to buy up a lot of the smaller indie films, and a lot of indie films were garbage, especially when we started transitioning into digital. So they just started signing any fucking thing that was digital. And I would sit back and just check out all these films from afar, and all these fucking magazine write-ups and Filmmaker magazine about all these filmmakers that are going to be the next filmmaker coming up, and da-da-da-da. And a lot of these films came out and they tanked. They'd be like, oh, this film was shot on digital for $200,000 and Sony Pictures picked it up. Fucking comes out, tanks. Another studio, this filmmaker, da-da-da, comes out, tanks. Comes out, tanks. To the point that it put a bad root on fucking digital, to that studios were like, well, we're not fucking with any more digital for a little while, because these films, they don't do good, these little indie films. And it was basically the studios trying to keep up with the Weinsteins. Oh, we can get these little studio films and we can get something nominated and da 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 da. Now, to me, that's my theory. You guys do your own fucking research on it. Tell me what you think. Yeah, until film went digital, there was like a little bit of a hold on picking up the smaller films that were shot on digital. Once the Canon fucking shit broke the roof, broke the back it was the straw that broke the camel's back and tore the roof off, and basically said, yeah, well, you don't need to spend $35,000 just on fucking film prints anymore. You can do digital. Now, of course, we're more in a digital world. So, as far as Duke is concerned, he's getting his just desserts. The only thing that is fucked up is like what Dame Dash said, and he was the one that basically got into a fight with Harvey Weinstein years ago for his film Paid in Full, and everyone was shitting on him because they felt that the film should have gotten distribution, and Harvey squashed that film. The reason was, and it's on YouTube, go check out Dame Dash. I forgot the brother's channel, but just type in Dame Dash Harvey Weinstein and it will come up, and he explains that whole thing, and now it all makes sense. He was screaming on Harvey Weinstein because the way Harvey Weinstein was treating his people, and he was like, you're not going to do that to me, and you're not, and they got into this whole thing. So Weinstein decided to fuck that film. And that also goes and ties into what Robert Rodriguez said when he tried to when he fucked over Grindhouse. It all makes sense. You guys just do the research and go read these articles and go pull out the Dame Dash interview on the brother's channel on YouTube, and it all connects. So the thing that Dame had mentioned, that when he did it, it wasn't cool, because everybody thought that he was crazy. And he said the best time, the accolades should go to when you do it when it's not hot. When he's hot, that's when you should have did it. Now that he's not hot anymore, and they made he made a lot of good points, but shit that I didn't even recognize. He said, now that they're not as hot anymore because you have all of these different platforms that people can put their films on. So it's not always just about going to Weinstein's. Now they're coming out. And I'm not taking anything away from the women because I think that's a dirtbag thing for, any fucking filmmaker that's doing it, any actor, whatever. Whole conversation for another time. But, you're using your power to manipulate people in a scare tactic and say, well, you're not going to have a career. You got to sleep with me, or I'm raping you, I'm taking this and this, that, and the third. It's not cool. So, chickens come home and roost in your ass, and it is what it is. And on that note, I'm going to peace you guys out. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Thank you for joining me once again for the O.M.G podcast. Before I let you go, I just want to check IMDb because I think Saw came out this weekend. I want to see if Saw was like the number one film. I like when horror does well on Halloween. Halloween time. Medea is doing, Tyler Perry's doing, his thing. With his Boo franchise now. It's the second one. And, but he usually, he has a certain window that, or a certain ceiling that his films, do. So it's great regardless, that his films are, or that this film is doing well. Damn, where is it? I can't find it. And it's because I'm looking on my phone on IMDb. They have the different versions of IMDb. I just wanted to see the numbers. Because they had mentioned that Saw did like $1 million Thursday night when it opened. But actually, you know what? Let me just do this. That's not what I wanted. Okay, let me type in. Oh, actually, why am I calling it Saw? It's Jigsaw. Jigsaw. Oh, wow. It said Jigsaw and the Google Voice opened up. My bad. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Jigsaw. Boom. Let's see. Box office. Jigsaw dominates pre-Halloween weekend with 16 million. Okay. Isn't the biggest, but you know what? It's the number one film, I believe. 3 hours ago, this is coming off of Variety. In the second slowest weekend this year, horror titles dominated the pre-Halloween box. They don't say box office. They say pre-Halloween box. That sounds like pre-Halloween vagina. Dominated the pre-Halloween box. Oh. Jigsaw leading the way with a respectable 16.3 million, and this is, the night isn't even over yet, so it's probably going to be slightly higher. And Boo, Medea's film, came in at number 2 with an additional $10 million. Okay, like I said, I like when horror films do well. It was very upsetting a few years ago when what's homeboy? Vin Diesel came out with Witch Hunter, and that shit just bombed, and it just was a horrible fucking film, and he should shoot himself for even producing shit like that. Yeah, but I like it, at this season when horror films do well. And I have a horror film that's going to come out eventually, looking for next year. But, like I said, I'm ironing some things out. I'm in fucking post still, and I want to add some, we gotta put it through, color correction. I'm at the color correction stage. It's just a lot to do. Mandela Van Peebles, looks exactly, he's in Jigsaw. I'm sorry, it popped up on my radar. He looks exactly like his pops, because I know that's Mary Van Peebles' kid. Looks exactly fucking like Mary Van Peebles. Can't tell me anything else. Okay, now I'm just rambling. I had something else that I was gonna. Yeah, it is his kid. There there was something else I was going to mention in closing, too, that popped up in my brain. But I got caught on this jigsaw thing, so I guess not. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I know what it was. In closing, you guys, C2 Films, the fucking Wheelman with Frank Grillo, and I did something, I gave it a shout out on my Instagram, which is the Silent Film Group Instagram. Frank Grillo, Wheelman, shit is fucking dope. And fucking Killing Gunther, fucking hilarious, man. Taron Killam, fresh off of fucking getting canned from SNL, just said, fuck that, I'm gonna direct my own shit, and fucking wrote it. Fuck that. I'm gonna show you guys what you're missing. This motherfucking shit is funny as fuck, man. That shit had me cracking the fuck up. So, if you get a second, check these motherfuckers out, man. Fucking Killing fucking Gunther, man. That shit surprised the fuck out of me. It really did. It's like I saw the trailer and I thought that it was going to be cool, but it was better than what I fucking imagined. Wheelman, I just had that feeling. When I saw the trailer, I said, all right, this looks slick. And I dig Frank Grillo. He reminds me of someone that I know. That's a whole other story for another time. And I say that a lot, but, gotta have some sort of privacy, motherfucker. That you decide that, when you want to discuss it with people. I am just getting into Instagram, and I did a post on it, and it amazes me the people that follow me or that like my stuff, and you see like there are like, different actors that you've seen on TV, and I just started it, but that's this, yeah, Killing Gunther and Wheelman. Gotta check them out. Gotta fucking check them out, you guys. So on that note, I'm gonna peace you guys out. Thanks again for joining me on this, and I'm going to do my very, 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 very best to be a little bit more consistent with my podcast, and I'm coming up with a concept as to how I'm going to do the podcasting too. So, I'm always trying to create new and interesting things. So, once again, I thank you very much. And I hope you're having a very great day and continued success in your endeavors and whatever else you're doing. And thanks again for fucking with the kid. Peace. Ciao, Bella. And I also have another film commentary coming up soon, but I'm not going to tell you what it's for. So check for me. We out. That's my ending music. Peace, guys. See ya. Wouldn't want to be.